You're good. Come on in. I don't want to mess anybody up. Good? Awesome. You come off that big win for us. Great team win. Obviously, great win, I think, for the city of Las Vegas. Again, I think I said it on Saturday night. What a great atmosphere for everybody, and for our fans to show up and everybody. And anytime you get to play a major conference, but I love it being kind of more regional rivalry game. Where we get in Vegas against LA, kind of a cool matchup, and for us to get that win and come out on top was fantastic. Coming out of the game, the tough part, we're going to lose Alex Orgy for the year. He's going to have surgery, so he'll be done for the year, which is a huge loss for the team. On that play, because not just obviously the loss to me, the devastating part is not just the loss of his talent on the field, but his leadership, his demeanor, the man that he is. It's just it's heartbreaking for him, for all the work he puts in. That's the biggest heartbreak, but also for the team, because I know he means so much to everybody on this team. But he'll be out for the year. Besides that, everybody else came out pretty healthy. For us. We're going to use this week, and that was disappointing. We were hoping, with some bye week coming up, it'd be a week or two deal for him. But we're going to use this week, try to get some guys healthy. We've been going at it pretty hard since the start of training camp. And so, as we go now, this chance to get some guys a little bit of rest. And also now you got into game week. So we have some guys that have, their reps through training camp. Everybody gets a lot of the same reps. You get into game week, you're kind of prepping a lot of guys, and you get to game day, and they can skew. So we have a lot of young guys. We're going to try to get a lot of reps, get them caught up this week to, get back going and prep and continue to increase the depth across the board at every position on the field and continue to get young guys ready to go play. We're also going to look at what we've done well and poorly. A lot of times you're in week 3 right now, so we have a little bit of an idea what our identity is offensively, defensively, what position, where we put guys in position of what they can do well, what they do poorly, what we want to really focus on or not focus on. Because you learn each other. Just because I drop a play and I love this play and it's fantastic, if it doesn't fit kind of the talent level where our guys are, we don't need to be running it. The same offensively, defensively, and in special teams. Are we putting our guys in a position now that we've played games and seen them in games to do what they can do well? Obviously, that's coaching. It's our job to adjust, not to sit there and say, hey, I have this great play. These guys better run it. Our job is to make sure we're adjusting and putting them in position to go succeed. So we'll spend a lot of that, especially early in the week, on that. We'll get into Miami on the back end of the week. Of how we use our bye week as a coaching staff, and then head out, do some recruiting this weekend, and head out on the road that way for the staff. So that's what we got. What do y'all got?
Coach, with the injury to Alex Orgy now, Cam Friel moves up to number 2. How do you plan on utilizing him now within your offense? Is there some way that you'll integrate him the way you did Orgy?
Yeah, I would do. We're gonna play to his strengths. The nice thing for Cam, and I give again, and you look at a guy with you in certain positions. You look at a guy like Cam Friel, who's played here before. The experience he has, he's been in games, he's played in games, and also, you look at a guy that you want to believe in. You want a guy that believes in the school. He had every right to probably sit there and say, Coach, this is my final year. I want to go somewhere else. I know you brought in a couple of quarterbacks to play here. And instead his response to that was, UNLV believed in me. I believe in UNLV. I want to be here. I'm part of the program. I'm going to do whatever it takes to help us win. Well, you can win with guys like that. So, that mindset is a very comforting thing as a coach, that his role is going to step up significantly as we move forward. But we're not handing that role to somebody that is inexperienced or you have any sort of question about him being able to handle it.
Another question, Coach, about the game. Now, after the game, you said about the rhythm of the Rebels, and you weren't really in sync a lot of the times. 27 total penalties, either on or on UCLA.
There were a lot of penalties going left and right, right?
But that kind of breaks up your
That does, and some of them to me, the ones to me that are frustrating for us, a lot of ours were avoidable penalties, right? We had 2 offsides on special teams. We had a guy come on the field late, not get inside the numbers. I mean, those are 3 very silly penalties. We had 3 unsportsmanlikes, right? Which are ridiculously silly penalties, right? And not the unsportsmanlike that are going to, I'm going to laugh at and then make me angry because we danced too long in the end zone or, as instead of running off the sideline, right? It was guys doing things that you can't do. That's not part of the game. That's not what I believe the game is all about, more than guys having fun or doing something silly. That's 6 of our penalties right now. Now, we got a hands to the face. Hey, we got to coach that technique, or those are avoidable, but less unavoidable. Those are kind of annoying, like a holding call, or we had one, both the PI, some of the PIs, the 2 guys just got tangled up and fell down, but some of those are those are harder to avoid. It's the other ones that were really frustrating that I want to get cleaned up. But the rhythm comes offensively. When you look at that point, like you said, is we give them an opportunity at the end of the first half they should not have had because of penalties, and gave them a little momentum. Then they got a long drive in the second half, helped by penalties, that we should have gotten off the field. And that drive was helped by penalties. So I bet on the clock-wise, I didn't look at it. It was probably about over an hour between offensive plays for us. And that's tough to keep the rhythm, because we had a lot of rhythm going, and then it's like, hey, you guys got a lot of things going right now. Everything's going real smooth. Hey, go sit over there for an hour, and we'll call you back. And it's kind of like, okay, let's go. We'll get ready to get back in the rhythm. It's almost like starting the game over again.
You said earlier that a lot of the focus this week for you and your staff is going to be on kind of self-scouting some of the things that you've done well and not so well over these last 3 games. If you were to pinpoint the number one area that you've been the most impressed by from your team so far, and maybe one area that you've been the most surprised by.
I've been impressed with our guys buying in to what we're trying to do from one week to the next. And the lack of resistance, a lot of times, we have a lot of new faces. When I'm showing them, guys, these are mistakes and issues that we're making, of them making conscious efforts to fix those things. I think that's been a really huge thing for us of what we're doing, right? Also, the guys, just the attention to detail, learning the offense, right? You go through training camp and you play against each other. Now we've played 3 very different opponents, right? And schematically very different in what they do and how they do things. And how our guys have applied, what we kind of learn the offense, 2, 3 individual game plans, that kind of the buy-in of how to go do that. I've been really impressed with those things with our guys and how they've handled that in the first couple weeks of the season.
Coach, what do you think Anthony Calandra, his potential, what do you think his potential is?
I think it's huge. I think he continues to get better. He's a guy, if you want to see, and you look at his growth, is when he came, and I always told him this from day one, because I watched him play a couple years ago. I've called it, when I was on ESPN calling his game. I don't want to take away from who you are, which is playing backyard pickup football. It's a pickup game for him back there, running around, doing all the different things, right? And his ability to make exciting things happen on the field. But it's the balance. And I told him that. I don't ever want to take that away from you, but I also want you to become a great quarterback. Okay? And that means going through your progression, going through your reads, taking what the defense gives you, right? And being on rhythm, being on time with your throws. You don't have to make big play after big play. Completing an extremely high percentage of your passes. Know when to take shots down the field, when to not take shots down the field. I think all of those things are huge. And I think he's really bought into that part of it and that relationship, because it can be frustrating when you're a young guy, like, oh, coach, turn me loose. Hey, we are turning you loose, but we still have an expectation of how we need you to play to be a great quarterback. And it certainly helps, obviously, being a little bit of an older guy. You know what I mean? I don't know that he would have been able to handle that. I wasn't on this, I think I met him at a hotel the one night before they were getting ready to play. I talked to him for like 5 minutes before a game, right? Working at the ESPN. But I don't know if he would have been able to handle that back then, a couple of years ago as a younger player. As he's grown and played, to kind of see, hey, I understand what you're talking about now, coach. How to be on time, how to be on rhythm, how to manage the offense, take what the defense gives me. But I can still go run around and make my plays and make things happen. And I think that balance is key.
Dan, are you able to elaborate on what Alex's injury is?
Yeah, I don't want to go too crazy with it. But when he got hit, he has a grade 3 LCL, but the hamstring completely ripped off the bone, which is kind of like his hamstring ripped off the bone. So it was, I think when they saw the hit originally, they're like, "Ooh, it could have been a lot worse." Came over to the sideline. I mean, he's got to be one of the toughest guys I know. He jogged off the field. Then when they did the MRI, they got in there and saw the extent of the injury. From what we originally thought it was going to be worse, got over the sideline, evaluated everything, thought, okay, it's not as bad as we think. Then the MRI was the worst case scenario, and it ended up being worse than we thought with the hamstring aspect of it all.
You mentioned the drive at the end of the first half for them after the penalty. I think that's when they started to kind of attack the underneath game, go a little bit of a short passing game.
Yeah.
Did you like the adjustments as the second half went on defensively in terms of that aspect, or did you think there were things that?
Yeah, it got into a different game for them, right? I mean, they were basically in a 2-minute the whole second half because we were up so big. And so when you are in that situation, I mean, you're kind of playing a little bend but don't break. We didn't want to give up the home run explosive. If they're trying to go 2-minute, we're trying to keep it all in front of them, make them work their way down the field. And then you go on top of it, the mistakes we made, right? I mean, you come out offensively, we go 3 and out, give them, 13 unanswered points with momentum. Then we're able to score, which was huge. They responded, and we have the hands team on the field. We really we shouldn't have done that in that situation. That's a major coaching error on our part, and and that kind of put us in a back to the wall situation. So as you look at how that played out, they stayed in their 2-minute, and we stayed keeping it in front of us, and worked out in the end. I would have loved to have one of some of those drives taken some more time off the clock offensively. I even go back to our last drive. I thought we were going to try to put the game away. I thought we had a look to get Jet down the middle of the field. And we probably should have been able to. You're going for the win on that play. Retrospect probably should have been maybe even more conservative third down, or you make them use some timeouts. But we're trying to win the game and put the game away offensively at that point.
On Alex Orji again, do you know, is surgery going to be
Surgery's
required?
coming up in the next couple weeks, yeah.
Okay. That's all.
I don't want to get too much into it, but he's going to have surgery here in the next couple weeks, and hopefully I explained it the way I should probably get the doctors or him, because they told me about it, and I'm like, go through it all with me again, and it wasn't like, hey, you just tore an ACL and you move on. It was a little more complicated than that.
Coach, so after the game on Saturday, Amaris Brown said that you guys had conversations in January when he got here for him to be a leader on the defense. And obviously, in the first few games of the season, he's made some really big plays. I just wonder, throughout the offseason, spring ball, fall camp, and the game weeks this year, what he's done off the field in his room to really lead that room.
Well, I think how he handles himself every day. It's one thing, right? I mean, he's a great vocal leader. He brings a lot of energy, juice, and he's very vocal out there on the field. But you got to back that up with your performance, and not just playmaking performance, with your effort every day at practice. And he does that. So it's one to come out and you're like getting everybody going, but you got to come out and then back that up with understanding the defense and your performance, but also your effort every day. And he's done that every day since he's been here. And I think, you look at where he's at, how he fit. He was playing some corner in his career. He's got a safety build. He's a physical player. So I think, Paul, and how we have him playing at our nickel spot is a perfect position for him with his crossover skill set and of what he's been able to do so far. And so I think that part has helped him. That gets into do we have the right guys in the right spot, asking them to do what they do well. I think that certainly helps him, and it helps his leadership because we have him in a position doing what he can do well, which allows his personality to come out.
Another quick one really quick. I've noticed Anthony Calandria has stood in to take a lot of hits after releasing the ball. Or he scrambles or takes keeper and he goes into a tackle standing up. He doesn't slide a lot when he's out in the open field. Just can you speak to his physical and kind of mental toughness with that?
He's a tough guy. He likes that part of the game. I think there's but that comes with the understanding too of when you want to play that way and when you don't want to play that way. Right? And I think that's something he continues to learn. And as a competitor, heck, I haven't seen many. That's teaching the guys that play QB for me, most of them, teaching them the slide's one of the hardest thing ever in the world to do because, right? I don't know when. I go back to Josh Harris at Bowling Green, or they want to go hit you, right? They want to go play, and that's kind of the guys that have always fit for me offensively. That toughness that they have, that's just their personality makes them what I want at quarterback, and that personality makes them want to go finish runs and play really hard. But it is finding that balance of when you need to go put it out there and get us the tough yard, and when, hey, let's just get down and go play the next play. But Ant's going to compete. He loves to compete.
A lot of recruiting crossover between UNLV and UCLA regionally. Yeah. And I know you're not able to comment on any specifics, but just generally speaking, what does a win like that in front of a lot of local-ish recruits against a program like a UCLA do for this program from the recruiting standpoint?
Well, I think a lot when you're looking at it, and when you do focus, especially like locally, or and even I consider a local 5-hour radius of here. So that's even the city of LA. Of a lot of when you're in Southern California, or especially here in the city of Las Vegas, a lot of our local players, your opportunity to go out there on the field and sit there and say, hey, UCLA's a national brand. Not only do we compete, we go beat them. And, right here, you can see the atmosphere of the crowd. If you want to play big-time football, you can just stay right here at home and play at UNLV. And, if you're a kid in Southern California, we're a kind of a local school. You can drive up here, get back to the games. You don't have to get on a plane and go across the country to play big-time football. You can do it right here locally. And I think so that type of stuff and the environment, our crowd, that was big time college football. And so, if you're a player from this area, I don't know that's always been that way. I think that may be one of the toughest things. If you go back 20 years at UNLV, a lot of the players might think, hey, I have opportunity. I'm going to go play. I have a chance to go play big time football. Now they're looking at it and saying, hey, I have a chance to go play big-time football. I'm going to do it right here at home, and my whole family get to see me play every single weekend. And I think that wins like that certainly help us, and that's why I love playing those games. I love playing more of those games if we can get people on the schedule to come play us here, and so that we can have big-time football, not just for the city, but for the kids, for local kids to be able to stay at home and play in big games. Thank y'all.
lot of it is right in my ways.